Hey there, boys and girls, Mr. Schneider here again, and this week we're talking about multiplication. There are two strategies we're going to look at today for multiplying two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers, so let's get started. There are multiple ways, forgive my pun, to multiply two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers, and we're going to go over two of them today, the expanded algorithm and the standard algorithm. Now, it's important that you know your multiplication facts for this, so be sure to review those if you need to. There will be a multiplication chart provided on Schoology if you need it though. Now the methods we're looking at today are actually the same concept. One of them is just more compact so that it's faster and takes up less space. But let's start with the expanded algorithm. Now this is the longer one, hence why it's called expanded. Let's try it out. With the multiplication sentence 23 times 7, and we'll write it vertically like this. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to decompose 23. Now decompose means to break it down. So we're going to break it down into the tens, which is 20, and the ones, which is 3. Then we're going to multiply each of these parts times 7. So let's do that first. Now whenever we do multiplication or addition or subtraction, whenever we write it vertically like this, we always start in the ones place. So we'll multiply the 3 times 7 first. 3 times 7 equals 21. So we're going to write 21 below right here. The whole number. Now the next step, we're going to multiply the tens place times 7. So it's 2 times 7. But remember, this 2 technically is 20, right? It's 2 tens, which equals 20. So when we multiply a number times 10, the trick is to ignore the 0. Okay, so essentially we're doing 7 times 20. But really, we're going to pretend like it's 7 times 2. Well, 7 times 2 is 14. But we're actually doing 7 times 20, so that 0 that we pretended wasn't there, we're actually going to add it onto our answer. So 7 times 20 equals 140, and we're going to write this number here below the 21 that we wrote earlier. Now, we've multiplied 3 times 7, and we've multiplied 20 times 7, and we got these numbers right here. These are called partial products. Okay, I'm going to circle them in red. These are our partial products. Now, that means they're not the whole answer. Product means answer for multiplication, but they're part of the answer, partial. All we have to do now is add them together, and we will get our total answer. So 21 plus 140 is going to equal 161. So 23 times 7 equals 161. That's the expanded algorithm. So the expanded algorithm shows us how we multiply parts of a two-digit number separately to make it a little bit easier on us. Next, we're going to do the standard algorithm, which is the exact same process, only it's less work to write it down. Okay, we're going to use the same multiplication sentence here so you can see that it's the same process, only written differently. We're still breaking 23 down into 20 and 3, and we'll start with the 3 times 7 first again, which as we saw earlier is 21. Here's the difference though. We're not going to write 21 below like we did before. We're only going to write the 1 in the ones place. So what do we do with the 2? Well, it's 2 tens. It belongs in the tens place, but we're going to write it above in the tens place. So we have 2 tens right here. Okay. Now the next step is the same. We're going to multiply the tens times 7. So we have 2 tens times 7. This is where it gets a little more tricky though, a little more different. We're not going to treat this as 20 like we did before. We are going to treat it as 2. Why? Because it's 2 tens, like you see below. 2 tens blocks. Okay, so we're going to take those 2 tens blocks and we're going to multiply that times 7. Well, if you have 2 times 7, that would give you 14 tens. Okay, but remember, we also have the 2 tens above. So if we had 14 from 2 times 7 plus 2 more, that would give us 16 tens. And where do we put the tens in our answer? Well, tens always go in front of the ones place. So we're going to write 16 in front of the ones place. And our answer is 161. Again, that is a standard algorithm. So those are the expanded and standard algorithms, and you can see that the standard algorithm is faster with much less writing. Which one did you like more? let us know when you do the work this week. But now it's time to practice some multiplication. Oh no. Now I'm multiplying too. Send help!